how I want to address that first one about why do I need a real estate agent? It's because of all the reasons that you're unaware of. That's the real reason. It's because until you understand how a successful agent should be connected to their peers, to the community, and the advantages that brings. And so there are many let's start with the buyer side. There are many agents that if it's a competitive buying situation, they're going to identify the agent that is representing that buyer, and that matters. And so sometimes they select the agent that they know has experience, is not going to guide their client in the crazy wrong direction, because that listing agent represents the interest of their seller. They do not need the headaches and the hassle and the deal blowing up and needing to go back on the market. So they want to do their job to protect their client in any way, shape, or form they can. And so if you have a great reputation, if they know that you're going to do a great job to help facilitate a smooth closing, they're going to want to work with you. And so if there's 5 offers on a property, I can tell you, I, as a listing agent, am going to absolutely consider who that other agent is, in addition to the other factors of an offer. And so that's number one. Number two, a good agent truly should have a good team. They should have everything from a title company that's local, that knows the local laws, the statutes, the issues that might pop up, and they should know their lenders. They should have lending options, not just one, but they should know who the good people are, and they should know every single little trick there is. And that goes back to experience. And so you don't necessarily have to hire an agent that's been doing it for 50 years, but hiring an agent that got their license yesterday, that even if you know them, you like them, you trust them as a person, they're not typically able to offer the type of advantages that a more senior agent with those relationships can offer. That's just the truth. They might have time. They might have nothing but time on their hands to answer your calls at midnight on a Sunday, but that's their big advantage, right? That's their big selling point. But there's so many other advantages to an experienced agent. And so I would really urge anyone listening to this to really pursue an agent with proper experience. And I also pursue, if they are a newer agent, do they have a team? Who are they going to surround themselves with that has the experience? So if you have someone you know, you like, you trust, are they on a team? Does that team offer substantial benefits to you, like all those connections, like all those relationships, inspection companies that they can recommend? And do they have contractors that they have on speed dial that are going to protect you, not just during the transaction, but after it? And so, one of the advantages I try to preach when I'm working with a buyer is that I'm going to be able to take advantage of you long after this transaction. So you have an issue in 6 months, in 2 years, you're calling me. I want you to. I want to be connected that way, and I'm going to be able to help you when things happen. So, for those reasons, an agent's important. I think I highlighted it, and I have my sound recorder, Raul, here, and so he's with me. Hi, Raul.
Hi.
And so in spite of having a guest, he's a client of mine, and so I told him to chime in as I'm starting to drone on to keep me a little bit organized in my thought, because I'm just here by myself giving these answers. But did I forget anything? Because I know you and I have had this discussion about how I feel about why an agent matters.
Yeah. And one thing that I was telling you is, like, do you remember when the guy didn't want to go out from the house? I don't know if you remember.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So the day of closing, we get here and there's a hiccup, right? They're not ready to move.
Yeah. I
almost forgot about that.
Yeah. And we literally, we didn't know what to do. And we really felt the difference of coming with you. And we acknowledge it even more afterwards, because there's the person from who we bought the house. So the day we gave him 3 months to clean up the house.
Yeah.
And the very day the house was full of stuff, and he was like, and we were like, well, it's our house now, no? And and we were like, what do we do? And we didn't know what were the other steps, no? So you helped us to do like a letter and everything.
Oh, yeah, we escrowed money.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think a good way to put what you're describing is that if you find someone that has the experience, it's that they've experienced a lot of these things before, and so they know how to handle it. Because when I was newer, I was experiencing everything for the first time. And so now I've dealt with that situation. I knew what to do because unfortunately it's happened many times. And so
and then we even valued more that afterwards, because we actually, by mere chance, had two other friends that bought homes, and by the time they got in, the same thing. It was an older person. The person like didn't have time or couldn't
couldn't get it all out.
Right. And they're like, hey, like we cannot get in, and one of our friends were almost a month like that. Month. And it's just that, we don't want to call the police and blah, blah, blah. And I told them, I don't remember really well, but my realtor took care of it.
It's the way it should be.
So it's those small things, that people don't want to ask or don't investigate really well what's the... We were fortunate because you were the first that we called.
Well, and I think some of the value comes. So if you've had a very, how do I say this? Like if you don't have any issues that pop up during your transaction, it is the smoothest transaction. Everybody on both sides are acting in good faith. It can seem like it's really easy. And then sometimes when issues arise, boy, that's when I'm really valuable. And I describe that as just like having a really good agent makes a big difference in the event something happens that was unexpected.